Hey y'all, so this will be a beginning of a series of what to expect when graduating. A list of, or I should say videos of things that you need to do or that may be required by your school when graduating. Now, of course, every school is different, so this is not all inclusive. I am just going off of my school specifically. It may or may not be the same for your school that you're going to. So my school has a list of different things that you need to do. We call it the pink paper, which I will be doing another video of the pink paper and the steps you have to go through for that paper. This video specifically today is about mock interviews. So my school requires that they do 30 to 60 day follow-up after you graduate. So they require that you put your resume on this website so that they can help you find jobs if you don't have one already lined up. They require that you do something that is called a mock interview, which I just completed. So what it is you go in, you meet with, at my school it's the student services, and basically you give them your, and I'm sorry if I'm looking away y'all because I am driving at the moment, but I wanted to get this video out to y'all as soon as possible so we can go ahead and start this series. But anyway, so yes, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go in, you're gonna give them your resume, your cover letter, and whatever references you may have, anything else that you want to have them look over. So the way our mock interviews are structured is, when I went in, I sat down, he explained to me how the mock interview is gonna go, and it basically is exactly what it sounds like. It's a fake interview where they're gonna present you with questions that you may or may not be presented with in real interviews, and kind of give you feedback, give you input on, your appearance, your demeanor, how you answer questions, things like that, and on the paperwork that you give them. So I was asked a total of 5 questions. The first question was, tell me a little bit about yourself, which is pretty straightforward. Now, at my school, these mock interviews are required. I don't know if every school requires them or if they are optional. I do feel like, in my opinion, it is a great resource, but I also feel like it should not be required. I feel like it should be recommended or optional, because not everyone needs, that help. And I feel like that resource is great for people that do need it, though. The meetings were scheduled for 30 minutes. I was done with mine in 15. So, it's not a long meeting. The first question he asked, like I said, was, tell me about yourself. Now, I went the professional route with that question. You can choose, that is completely up to you what you decide to do for that question. Like I said, I decided to stay professional, which is fine. The second question that he asked was, what was my strengths? Now, again, I like to keep things straight and simple. Usually, most interviews that I've ever been on, they ask the same questions, which are the questions that he asked. So, very good questions. So I usually always have an answer for most of these questions. So, what's my greatest, what do I feel is my greatest strength? Is usually I tell them, there's a couple different ones for that I might throw out there. So, but whatever you think your strength is, and try to be honest, something that you feel is truly your strength. You don't want to get hired. You tell them, hey, I feel like my strength is critically thinking, and then you get the job and you can't critically think worth a damn. You know what I'm saying? Try to be realistic. And then while answering that question, I went ahead and threw in what I thought my weaknesses were. And when I was done, he was like, oh, that's excellent. You answered my third question before I even had to ask it. Cool. So that was the third question. That would have been the third question. What do I believe my weaknesses are? And for that question, I always have the same answer. There is no option. My answer is always, I feel like my weakness is always one imperfection. And in the hospital, in the medical field, I have to learn I had to realize and learn that basically you can strive for perfection. You can strive to put out your best work and best care to your patient, but you also have to be efficient, so that can be a downfall, wanting to be so perfect. So that's what I always tell them my weaknesses, balancing efficiency and efficacy. I like things to be perfect. So that was my answer. Now, the fourth question he asked is, he based it as if he was the employer, and he asked basically why did I want to work at that facility? He was acting like he was a hospital. Sorry for the bumps, y'all. He was acting like he's a hospital. So, and then in that instance, I acted, you know, like I told him when I came in, I would always, first and foremost, you always look up the hospital that you're going on an interview with. I feel like it is a rookie move for people that do not do that. I feel like it gives you that upper hand when they ask questions like that. You could throw out or sprinkle in little things about their hospital that other people won't, and it just gives you that upper hand above those people in the interview. Just a little food for thought. So I just answered the question as if he was a hospital, you know, and said that I would, that the hospital's mission statement closely aligns with what I feel, what type of nurse I would like to be, you know, things like that. So, like I said, definitely looking into the hospital helps you with that question. And then the last question, what was the last question he asked me? Oh, how do I feel that I can be an asset to the hospital in the RN role? I booger y'all, and y'all ain't tell me. That's crazy. So yeah, how do I feel like I could be beneficial, you know, in the RN role? And again, I feel like these questions are pretty straightforward and easy, because if you're being honest and you're speaking about yourself. Sorry, the lights about this. Sun is bothering me. If you're speaking about yourself, you know, it kind of flows easily. So I feel like I truly will be an asset to any team that I join. So it's easy for me to answer that question. So I feel like when you're answering a lot of these questions, use your strengths as your answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes you look excellent. You know, you have an answer. You're not having to and I know I say a lot, but when I'm in interviews, I make a mental note not to do that. That's one thing I've always been taught. You want to be easy on the even though I just said it again. In interviews, you definitely want to be mentally aware and mentally conscious of that. You definitely want to speak with intention during interviews. You don't want to give too much information. You want to answer the question at hand, and if they want follow-up information, or if they want more details on whatever you just mentioned, they will ask. You never want to give too much information, because then you can mistakenly say something that you didn't mean to say, or say something that could disqualify you that you didn't even mean to say, you know? And what I mean by that is, if they say, "What color is my sweater?" your answer should be, "It's blue." The answer should not be, "It's blue cotton with a silver zipper," and like, answer the question at hand. Don't give too much information. Don't go off topic, okay? I'm trying to think of any other pointers that I could give for your mock interview, and for real interviews as well. My number one tip, and I've literally, to this day, knock on wood, I've never not gotten a job that I've interviewed for by doing this one thing. And that is always having questions. And that goes back to looking up the facility that you are applying to. Because every interview, the questions they might ask might be different. You know, whether you're doing a panel interview or just one person interview may be different, but what will always be the same, no matter what job, no matter what field, no matter what interview, what will always be the same, I'm running out of time, y'all. What will always be the same is, at the end, they will ask, "Do you have any questions?" Always have questions. People think that it looks good to not have questions, or it looks like, you know, they answered, or they'll say, people will say, "Oh, you've answered all my questions. No, I'm great." Nope. Always have questions. You don't know, if I've had $1 for as many times as I've asked questions on an interview, and I shocked the hell out of them, like in a good way, they're like, "Oh, wow, the only one today that had questions." You know, like, it makes you look amazing. If that's one thing, if not nothing, you took from this video, always ask questions, okay? At the end of your interview, always end with a question. Even if it's one question, go there with one question in your mind that you're gonna ask them at the end of the interview. It could be about the job, what they have to offer. It could be about anything pertaining to that job, okay? So I hope this was helpful. Like I said, this will start to be a series. This is the first video in this series of what to expect when graduating, and this one is mock interview. So I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you in the next video.